Morning. So this is going to be a instructional training video. What happened?
I'm gonna order sandwiches. Do you want one? It's on me.
We're going to that breakfast spot, right?
Yeah.
If they can, get that breaded chicken, fresh mozzarella, and roasted peppers, and a Coke, please. All right then.
That was special that day. I don't know if they're gonna have that, but I'll ask.
Yeah, if they have that, get that. If they don't have that, then don't worry about it. All right, back to the video. So this is an instructional training video for
What do you want?
Jesus Christ. All right, so
What do you get?
Jesus Christ, put on the fucking radio, Jesus. This is part of the job too. We're ordering sandwiches, you know what I'm saying? So this is what we do.
I love peppers.
We're we deal with fuel and trains. Remember that, two things: fuel and trains and safety. Everything's about safety. So we're on the yard. It's not a live yard, which means there's no through traffic. It just means that they bring trains in, they bring tanker trains, and then they drop them off. They're full of product. We got two kinds of products. We got condensate and we got C5. The product gets taken out, it gets pumped out of the tankers, and it gets brought to a tower. So a typical day for me is like this. They tell us on the group chat what time to come in. We show up, we get suited up, we got our fire suit, you know. I got this other jacket, it's raining today. This is from my other job at the construction site. They tried taking my jacket away. I made sure I got it back. It's a funny story about that. I'll tell you in another video. But yeah, so you gotta wear a fire suit. It's not water resistant, so if you get under the trains, sometimes you go for a swim. You know, they're supposed to drain properly, and some of them don't. This one did. So, but so you get to the trains. You'll have the hose like that standing over there, and has to get hooked up like so. For that to happen, you have to have your tool bag. You need snips, you need wrenches, you need a hammer, you need a couple other, it's a bunch of stuff in that tool bag. So basically, you disconnect the bottom of the tanker, you open the valve, you know, you snip the tags, the wire tags, you get them off, you open it, you put the adapter if necessary. Some of them are quick connect, and you have the hose hooked up, make sure it's good on tight, and you have to have the strap across this to hold the ears. And then you move on to the next car, and how many cars you get for the day. Today, you know, whatever you get, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, whatever. The bottoms, that's the bottom. When that's done, you gotta go up top to the train. I'm already on the ground, I'm not gonna walk up the stairs right now, but you gotta get to the top. See? The walkway to the top of the tanker. You gotta drop the walkway. You gotta make sure the ground is there in case there's like a lightning or something, some kind of electrical disturbance. And then you got to pop the other two tags up there for the manways. And then after you pop them, you got to, with the wrench, you got to unscrew the cap for the valve. So you can put the valve in and release it with the lever. And have all that set up. You have to have the bottom and the top all set up. And then you call the tower to let them know you're ready to pump. And they'll let you know when to go ahead. You have to have somebody in the pump station at all times to regulate it, make sure the pressure is copacetic, there's no problem, you know, doesn't fluctuate of any kind, cavitate. So once the pump tower says it's good to go, we open the over here, those are called butterflies. And then on these trains, these are called, on the other side you can see, it's the BOVs. So once the tower says it's okay to go, or they're going to give us like a notice, like we'll be ready in whatever, 5, 10, 15 minutes. You open the BOVs, that's under the tanker, bottom open valve, and then you open the butterflies, which are by the actual pump system. Those are open, then the pump station can turn on, begin pumping, and then they begin to pump the fuel out of the tankers. And then depending on how many tankers you have being pumped at a time, it could take anywhere from a couple hours to 4, 5, 6 hours. But you never want to do more than that, because if there's a problem, it'd be dangerous. And while it's pumping, you always have somebody like me right now walking up and down for fire watch. Fire watch basically is to make sure that there is, you're doing your inspections. You're doing, obviously making sure there's no fires. If there's a fire, there's really you ain't gonna get very far. If there's a little fire and it spreads, this whole place is going up. So that's it. So hopefully there's no fires. In addition to fire watch safety, you also you're responsible. Your duties include making sure there is the connection between the tankers. The straps are there. So they should be like this. Now there's different variations. It could be a chain, it could be a rubber one. We have to make sure they're there and they're connected. That one does not look like it's connected on one side. I'm gonna have to do that. You also have to make sure your placards are correct. The zip ties are right. You have to make sure there's no leaks. And if you come across any kind of problems, you have to handle that accordingly. And while it's pumping, you just make sure there's no fires, make sure everything's safe until the pumps pump everything out. Also, while it's pumping, when you get about 45 minutes to an hour into the pump, you go up top and open the manways with the impact gun with the sockets, small or large, to release the pressure, so it drains a little quicker. Also, you can check inside the tank and see how much is left, and once it's completely empty, you know you're good. Once it's empty, you begin the pump shutdown. The process includes, first you go tank by tanker car, one by one. You have one guy on top, one guy on the bottom. The guy on top will let the guy on the bottom know whether it's empty or not. If it's empty, he will close the BOV and the butterfly. And we will repeat this process until every tanker that's being pumped is shut down, closed, the BOVs and the butterflies. Then you will inform the pump station of the situation that everything is closed and empty, and they will begin the shutdown for the pumps. Then they will notify the tower that the process is complete. And once the pump station is shut down and the tower is informed and they do their part, then begins the close up, the trains. Close the manways, close the bottoms. You have while doing fire watch, someone will be in the trailer doing their paperwork for their tags and just double checking paperwork, certifying everything you need, DOT numbers, placards, anything. And then we usually go out in a group and just begin the closing up the trains, bottoms, tops, lift the walkways, put the ground back. And then once that's done, either you basically go home, or if necessary, you drill the trains out, where you take the buggy and you begin moving the empty cars. Now, depending on the yard you're in, it might be an incline, might be flat. It will basically determine your movements. We have an incline on one side, so we have to do maybe 1-2 tankers at a time. If they're full, empty, we could do a little more, but then we want to be careful, especially on days when it's raining. You don't want something to happen. You have to make sure also your derails are down, so this way there's no trains, jumping the tracks, getting derailed. That would be a $100,000 mistake to fix. You don't want that. So this job consists of a lot of responsibilities. A lot of safety measures are put into place to ensure the safety of the worker, the employee, by the employer. It is a difficult job. You are outside, exposed to the elements. You are dealing with combustible liquids, flammable substances, air, fuel, 2 different products in this case. There is potential for other hazards, such as, slips, falls, heavy tools. You have to be alert at all times. You want to stay alive, stay alert. And I guess with everything else in the world, it's mucho trabajo, poco dinero. You work a lot, you don't see a lot of money. It's never enough money. But I'm glad to be working right now. I have to be grateful, considering everything going on with the whole, what I'm talking about, with this whole, you know what I'm saying? And so I made this instructional training video for the YouTube viewer to let them know what it is to deal with trains and fuel. Now remember, pay attention, because there's going to be a quiz at the end.